in our culture, we have a lot of defective philosophies, and they come up in statements, in advice that we give people. For instance, one of the advice that is given to young people who are going to get married, especially young ladies, is this: when you go and you come into wealth, bring it home. Home meaning where your parents are. But if you run into a debt, leave it with him, and let him handle it. Now, of course, that is a defective philosophy, because it makes the woman a mercenary and not a spouse. So what are some of the philosophies that can help you build a great relationship? And I've put together 6 philosophies, 6 items in this philosophy of marriage that would guarantee you a great marriage. Philosophy number 1, marriage is God's idea. It is not one of the schemes man came up with. And if it is God's idea, 2 things flow from that. 1, it has his blessings. 2, he has a say in it. So if you have any issues in your marriage, don't throw tantrums. Just go to God and ask for wisdom. In his wisdom, you'll be able to overcome any issues. Sometimes when we have issues, we run all over the place except to God. Go to God. The second philosophy and these are philosophies that have undergirded my own marriage, and that is why I'm sharing them with you. The second philosophy that has helped me in my marriage is that marriage has 3 parties. There are 3 parties in a marriage: husband, wife, and God. Now, many people marry as if it is they and their spouse, and therefore then the power play comes, and then the one who has the upper hand at any time then tries to dominate the other, sometimes even manipulate the other, bully the other, and that is not it. When you see your marriage as having 3 parties with God as the head, then you hold yourself accountable to him, and therefore you are measured in your words, you are measured in your actions, you are more sensitive and thoughtful, because you know it is not just you and your spouse. There is someone far much bigger, much more important than the two of you. Now, the third philosophy is marriage is a school. Marriage is a school. I've talked about this on this platform before. So if you're not enjoying your marriage, don't worry. It's like nobody enjoys school unless you were a kubolo. But school is hard work. Why is marriage a school? Because marriage is a platform on which nature tries to make you a better person, makes you a much more grounded individual, a much more balanced individual. That is one of the purposes of marriage. It is meant to make you a better person. And the process is not an easy one. It's not a pleasant one. So you've got a lot of the irritations, a lot of the problems you have in your marriage. You take another look at it, and you'll find that they are helping you become a much better person. The fourth is that marriage is a divine play. It's a divine play. And I'm saying that because I'm a playwright, I'm a director, and I know what it means. The Bible says that, and this is for the Christians, in marriage is God's way of demonstrating to the world the relationship that would exist between Christ and his church. The husband is Christ, and the wife is the church. As a husband, I should be able to say to my wife, if you want to see how Christ loves the church, look at how I relate to you. Now, that is a huge challenge. I am playing the role of Christ in a divine play. My wife is playing the role of the church in a divine play. She should be able to tell me, if you want to know how the church would adore Christ and be devoted to him, look at how I relate to you. Now, when a character goes on stage and does not play according to the role given to him, of course, it is difficult and it is disastrous. It's the same way when a husband is not being Christ in his marriage, or a wife is not showing the devotion and the submission of the church to Christ in the marriage. Now, the fifth, marriage is complete with or without children. Now, I realize that in some parts of Ghana, people would stone me for this, because there are people who believe that the only purpose for marriage is to have children. So if children are not coming in, why stay in that? But no, Marriage is complete with or without children. And the sixth is not for married people. It's for people who are not married. It's a philosophy for them. Marriage is not for everyone. So don't let anybody push you to get married, because marriage is not for everyone. When you are ready, by all means, take the step. So that's the first P word, philosophy, P for philosophy. Now I go to the second P word, P for patience. P for patience. Now, when I was growing up at Southern Treso, I had occasion to listen in to a lot of marriages that were in trouble, couples being counseled. And I realized one word kept running through all the advice that is given to all the various kinds of married people who came with issues. And it was this: patience. Abotara, patience. Be patient. And they were told, with patience, you can achieve anything. You can overcome anything. And I realized they were right. In our modern world, with technology has spoiled all of us. Now everything is instant. So the virtue of patience has become almost endangered. Nobody needs patience anymore. Nobody practices patience anymore, because look, when I was growing up, you write a letter and you wait for 3 weeks for the letter to reach its destination, and wait for another 3 weeks for the letter to get to you. Today, with the power of your thumb, in a matter of seconds, your message is out there. And there are people who send you a message, and if they don't get a response back in a minute, they are freaking out and asking, have you got my message? Why are you not responding? Well, we need patience, because there are certain things technology can't save us from. The need for patience, technology will not be able to save us from. So, in your marriage, you've got to develop patience. And you've got to develop patience in 5 areas. 1, patience with yourself. You will not be a fantastic spouse from day one. It evolves. Being a good husband evolves. Being a good wife evolves. Being a good parent evolves. So, patience with yourself. But whilst you are being patient with yourself, continue learning, continue overcoming your demons, continue overcoming your shortcomings, continue learning the lessons and discovering what will make your relationship work. Second, patience with your spouse. Your spouse is not perfect, neither are you. Your spouse was not born a spouse, and nothing prepares us to be spouse. One day, we go and utter a few words and say, I do, and then they say you are a spouse. So we are not quite ready for it. So patience. Your spouse needs the patience to begin to grow into becoming the kind of spouse, husband, or wife that she needs to be, or he needs to be. I remember one case in which a girl gets married, and then they return from the honeymoon. On the honeymoon, they were living in a hotel, so they ate from the hotel. They return from the honeymoon, and that very day, the next day, the husband goes to work and comes back. And the girl is sitting down. And the husband asks, my dear, where is food? He said, well, I was waiting. Where is food? I don't know. Where is food? He said, oh, but you're supposed to prepare food. Oh, me? He said, yeah, but she had not processed it yet. There's also a very interesting thing that happens. In Ghana, people have a wedding and the woman's name is changed. So she's now Mrs. somebody. When previously she had even a much more beautiful name. And then she's asked, what is your name? Or she's mentioning her name, or she's on the phone, and she says, oh, this is Ajua Mansa, and her husband is Kabute, and she's sitting there and says, hello, so you don't love me? You don't appreciate the name I gave you? Well, Ajua Mansa is sweeter than Kabute. But the point is that a person needs to get used to the fact that I have a new name, I have a new status. We take it for granted. So patience with your spouse. The third thing is that you would have to have patience with the relationship. Your relationship will take time to grow. It will take time to get sweeter. So take time. Have patience with your relationship. It will get better. I promise you that. It will get better. Now, sometimes we think that as long as 2 great people marry, they should have a good marriage. No. They were great individuals. As a couple in a relationship, they would have to have patience with each other, adjust to each other, negotiate and renegotiate their space with each other before they get there. And then the fourth, patience with your children. Patience with your children. As somebody who bloomed late, I can't say this enough. Parents, take time. Your children are individuals. They are not the same. Not all of them will find their feet. But well, I'll come to that when I go on to parenting. So that is the second P. So the first P has been philosophy. The second has been patience. So let's quickly go into the third P, because the last thing on patience has led us wonderfully into this. Parenting. I recognize that we haven't dwelt on parenting on this platform that much. I've concentrated on relationships, courtship, marriage, and sex and things like that. I haven't talked about parenting, but we're dealing with them P words, and parenting is a P word. So let's spend a bit of time on parenting. When you get married, one of the byproducts of that is that you'll become a parent. You could become a parent. So once you get married, you've got to prepare your mind for it. Unfortunately, not many of us are doing a very good job of parenting. So here are 10 commandments of parenting. 10 things a parent should not do or should do. So if we are ready, I'll run through them very quickly. 1, never compare your children. Children are very different. They have the same parents, but they are very different. Each of them has different characteristics and different traits. So some children are outgoing, others are not. Some children bloom very fast. They are early starters. So at school, from primary school, they are doing well. Some children seem lost to the university. So don't compare your children. They have different destinies. Appreciate that. That is why they are different. 2, don't deprive your children of good education. A lot of parents are building houses for their children. They will sell it, or somebody will take it from them. So that is not the thing you should do. As for a car, who told you that the car you are using today will be the car of tomorrow? So don't even worry about that. That one is even a non-starter. The only thing you can leave your children is a fantastic education. If you have any investment to make in your children, it is not in property. It is in their mind. So don't deprive them of good education. Take your children to good education. Get them to study. Get them to go as far as you can. 3, treat other people's children as your own, because you don't even know where your children will go to, where they would end up. And the investment you would have made in other people's children would now, your children can draw upon it. I believe that I have drawn on the goodness my mother showed to other people's children. So what investment are you making in your children's destiny and future, irrespective of where they find themselves? And you do that investment by investing in other people's children, being good, being concerned in the case of other people's children. Then no matter where your children end up, they will find people coming up to help them. So 4, never abuse your children verbally. They will never get over it. You know, I remember in Kumasi, South Central was a very interesting place to grow, because you had colorful curses and insults thrown at children by this thing. For instance, hey, Abuanchonwe wate, you know, and this is a mother throwing this at the Abuanchonwe. Those of you who don't understand that cheek, the mother is cursing the child that may some wild animal just devour you, you know. Or like in my case, where your face is compared with a knife, you know, your face is as narrow as a knife and things like that. No, please don't do that. It's the reason why a lot of people are flawed. It's because of the insults that were heaped at them by their parents, especially their mothers and their siblings. So let's not do that. Now, don't encourage your children. So that's commandment number 5. Don't encourage your children to be disrespectful to anyone, not even the maidservant. We have a situation in Ghana now where the nouveau rich have maidservants, and they encourage their children to be rude to the maidservants. Meanwhile, the children spend more time with the maid servant than with you. But teach your children to be respectful to whoever they are dealing with, and you would have guaranteed them a great future. So let's go on to 6. Kwesi, I'm waiting on you to go. Kwesi is rolling out the things, and sometimes he falls asleep behind the thing. Don't shy away from disciplining your children. That's number 6. If you don't want them to disgrace you later. If you pamper your children and you don't discipline them, that is not love. That is cruelty. You are being cruel to your children, because children need to be disciplined. Children need to know their limits. When you don't discipline them, they grow up not knowing their limits, and they become a danger to themselves and to society. So discipline them if you don't want them to disgrace you later. 7, don't substitute money for your time and for your attention. There are parents who have no time for their children, but they then dote on them. Whatever the children need, get. They use the money to try to make up for the time and the attention. And whilst at it, don't ever say that I'm doing this for the children. Listen, your children need you more than the money. You know, so there are parents who comfort themselves and say, I'm not making time for my children, but I'm killing myself for them. No, your children don't need you to kill yourself for them. They will kill themselves for themselves. You kill yourself for yourself. But for now, pay attention to them, because they are growing so fast, and you will not always get them as small children. Invest in them so that later on in life, they will have so much, a data bank of memories with you that they can go back to. They can say that, oh, as my father used to say, as mommy used to say. There are children now growing up, they don't have a quote. They don't have any quote from their father or their mother, apart from, hey, you foolish man. And that is a scream they have heard their mother say over and over to taxi drivers in traffic. Not good enough. So, 8, don't argue or fight before your children. It is not good, it is not wise, it destroys your children. Children are devastated when they hear or see daddy and mommy fighting. Never do it. 9, don't discuss sensitive things before your children, because children don't know what is sensitive. They will say it somewhere. They will say it somewhere, and you'll be very embarrassed. Finally, 10, don't adopt any lifestyle that you don't want your children to avoid. There are parents who say, do what I say, not what I do. It's not in any book. Your children will do as you do. So if you don't want your children to be doing something, don't let them see you do it, because they will do it. Those are the 10 commandments for parenting. And now we'll go on to our final P word, and it's P for problems. P for problems. The common, we're going to run through 40 common problems in marriages. A lot of them I'll just skim over it. Now the reason why I'm doing this is that there are people who run into problems in their relationship, and they think the world has come to an end. They think it is only they having those problems. They don't realize that good relationships and bad relationships have the same problems. The difference is in how the couples deal with those issues, how they handle it. So your marriage is not bad because you have an unfair share of problems. No, your problems are the same as the marriages you admire. The only difference is that those in the marriages you admire are handling their problems much better than you are. And so rise up and begin to deal with your problems in a much better way than you have been doing. So let's run through the 40 very common problems. The first, number 1, and it's a killer, disrespect. Disrespect. I know that there are people who, at the time they get married, do not even know what it means to be respectful. And they take it there, the way they will talk to you, their behavior, their attitude, their body language. They don't know when a word should not come out of their mouth. They will just drop it, whatever comes out of their mouth. Not good enough. 2, money issues. Money issues. Unless you are a billionaire or a multi-millionaire, but even they, I'm sure they have money issues. But the average person, people like us, the question is, what happened to the money I put on the table? Is the money finished? So, what did you use it for? Money issues. We all face them. What do you do? Be careful. Plan your expenditure well. Don't live above your means. Don't spend to make impression with anyone. Live within your means and you'll be fine. 3, forgetting or ignoring or failing to honor special occasions and special dates. And I know a lot of ladies are smiling now and looking at their husbands because we tend to be guilty of that men forget special dates, like birthday, anniversary, that kind of thing. Well, your man has forgotten your birthday, forgot your birthday 3 years ago, and you've never forgiven him since then. Let it go. It's a problem that you would have to help him overcome. In my home, they now remind me a month before an important date and a week before. Then I have no excuse for getting it. So find what works for you. 4, allowing petty irritations to fester until they blow up. You know, you go into the bathroom, the washroom, it's been left in such a way that you don't approve. You don't talk about it. You are irritated. You're going out. You gave a time when you should be going. The time is up. Your partner is not ready. You are irritated. You are driving to the venue. Your partner is driving dangerously. You ask him to slow down. He snubbed you. You are irritated. It's festering. It's festering. You get to the venue late, and your partner is not hurrying and is taking his or her own sweet time to pick a phone call. You are irritated because you are saying, look, don't you see we are late? You are allowing these things to fester. They are building up. The important thing is to learn to address these issues as they come up. Otherwise, you will blow up in a way that will shock you. 5, connection versus independence. Women love connection. Men want independence. Men sometimes love their space. They want to be left to their space. Women want connection. They want to come and sit by you. They want to talk. They want to put their hand in your food when you are eating. It's all connection. And men are not used to that. I remember a man, he was even a pastor. He was eating when his wife came to sit before him and began to pick food from the plate. And his thing was, why are you eating from my plate? You two, you have your plate. Go eat from your plate. And the wife says, shame on you. This is just for connection. This is just for connection. So let's go on to 6. Please, somebody wake Chrissy up for me because he's 6. Third parties. Third parties. Third parties. The influence of third parties in relationship. In almost every relationship, there is a third name. There's a name that sparks trouble in the relationship. It could be an ex or a girl in the church that the man seemed to fancy and lavish a bit of attention on, or somebody whose name in the relationship suddenly would mar the mood. They are third parties. Siblings, parents, sometimes intruding upon the relationship. They constitute a problem in the relationship. If you are facing it, you are not the only one. It's a very common problem. 7, infidelity. And I identify two kinds of infidelity. The physical one, the actual one, that is often very difficult to forgive. And then the one that is becoming very pronounced now that everybody has a mobile phone and they are doing things, all kinds of things on it, emotional infidelity. Emotional infidelity is when you find somebody that you are more comfortable pouring your heart out to, somebody you go to for validation and for comfort, for solace, and then you ignore your partner. Somebody you can talk to for hours when you are totally ignoring your partner. That is a common problem and you should watch it. 8, drifting apart. This is when the couple just have independent lives and they are going their various ways. They don't link anymore. Communication. How good is your communication? Difficulty in communicating, in getting through to your partner. 10, sex, almighty sex. A biggie there. 11, sex. One party wants it, the other is not ready for it. How do you negotiate that? One party is not ready, the other party is ready. These are common problems. 11, household chores. He never helps me in the house. It's a very common complaint. Blame his mother. His mother never taught him how to how to clean the wash dishes. And you are a mother. You train your son better, well, so that he can go and do better. 12, lack of commitment or not making the relationship a priority. 13, mistaking conflict for a mistake in the choice you made. There are people who fight in their marriage and they think, hey, then I made a mistake. No, you didn't make a mistake. 14, distrust. Little lies. Some people say white lies. I don't see anything being a lie. Every lie is a lie. Lack of attention is 15. He comes home and he's on his laptop. She comes from the shop and she's counting her money. Or as a friend of mine says, she's reading her money. And so she has no time for you. Lack of appreciation, 16. Never saying thank you. Overstepping your boundaries, that is 17. Not knowing how to respect each other's space. And then 18, allowing your technological gadgets to take over your relationship. Now, people are testing instead of talking to each other, not good enough. 19, changing plans without discussing it with your partner. Or, for instance, you want to be, your wife didn't want to be soft mommy. Then you get some spiritual experience and you want to be a pastor. And he says, well, I didn't marry a pastor. You need to negotiate that. That's anger issues, not knowing how to deal with your anger. And that goes to cold treatment. It goes to the silence treatment. And then being rude in public, rudeness in public. And I would like to define this. You are rude in public when you go out with your partner and you leave your partner and you're giving other people attention. That is rudeness. Especially if this where you've gone to is your territory. For instance, you go to your company's party or you go to a party of somebody who is your friend or relative and you leave your spouse at the table and you are all over the place. You go to church with your partner and you abandon your partner, but you are nice to everybody. That is being rude. You went with somebody. Give attention to that person. Yelling on your partner, snapping at your partner in public. That is rudeness. Criticizing your partner in public whilst others are around. That is rudeness. So try to avoid that. Trying to improve your partner. That is 23. Trying to improve your partner. Look, as soon as you marry, your chances and your ability to improve your partner over. Unforgiveness. That is a big thing. Something has gone on. It's difficult. You are finding it very difficult to go on. Expecting marriage to be as exciting and passionate as courtship. That is a biggie. There are people who are leaving their marriages, ending their marriages because they miss the passion and the excitement of courtship, and then they go in for somebody else. And then they get that feeling back and they think that, yeah, so that's proof that I made a mistake in marrying the person I married. No, you marry this one. Very soon, that passion will go out again and you'll be looking for it again. Just recognize that as soon as you move from courtship to marriage, passion, some level of passion will go out. It doesn't need to go out completely, and you need to do certain things to get it back. But get ready for that. Loneliness. There are people who married because they didn't want to be lonely. And they were looking forward to marriage, taking care of loneliness for them. Then they marry and they realize, look, I'm still a lonely person. Well, marriage won't solve your loneliness. You've got to find a way of filling your life. Otherwise, you will not get anywhere. Feeling trapped in your marriage. You think that, I have regretted the choice I've made. I can't get out for whatever reason. 30, not feeling good about yourself. Not feeling good about yourself. When you don't feel good about yourself, what happens is that you become very difficult to live with. You become overly sensitive. You become a difficult person to live with. So work on yourself. Inability to apologize. There are people who can never open their mouth to say, I am sorry. Treating your partner as if your partner is a mind reader. Your partner cannot tell what is going on in your mind. Your partner cannot tell why you are angry with him or with her. So talk about it. What I call unfair and unjust trials. This is where your partner says you are guilty, prove that you are not. It's a very difficult thing. I suspect you are having an affair with that girl. Now prove to me that you are not. She has no evidence, he has no evidence, but he has a feeling. And so you are guilty. Now prove that you are not guilty. Expecting perfection of your partner, but giving yourself permission not to be perfect. That does not work. Your partner may mess up, may get on your nerves a few times. Next, treating your partner as your dependent. There are people who are treating their spouses as if their spouses is a relative living with them. No, that's your spouse. You are co-dependent. She may depend on you for your money, but you also depend on her for much more than money. Things money can buy. Respect her and don't treat her as if she is one of the people you are looking after. Making love the most important factor in your relationship. Love is not. So if you think, there are people who say, why do you want to move out of your marriage? I don't love her anymore. Oh, hello, it doesn't matter. Because in marriage, love does not matter. There are certain things that are much more important than love. So is there respect? Is there loyalty? Is there honesty? Can the two of you talk? Can the two of you give each other commitment? Those are more important than, and it doesn't matter the basis on which you marry. No matter how you think you love somebody, once you marry, love becomes irrelevant. It takes not just even a second seat, it takes a very relevant seat. So, keeping secrets from each other, the chances are that when the secrets come up, you are going to be very embarrassed. Not letting yourself go. Everybody will need to take care. And one occasion, I was saying that it is sad to see a man who is pregnant because we don't know when they will deliver. So work on yourself. Playing victim. When you play victim, that is when you take everything that is thrown at you because you think you don't have any options. And because you think you don't have any options, you are very resentful. And now let's go to the very last one, 40, losing your identity. Losing your identity in your marriage. Never lose your identity. You are an individual and don't let it go. Well, so that brings me to the end of my presentation. We've gone through 4 P words. We looked at P for philosophy, P for patience, P for parenting, and P for problems. We've just run through 40 problems. I hope it's been useful to you. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. We'll go straight on to the questions. Okay, I'm being signaled that we will have to take a little break. So we'll take a break and then see you on the other side. much for staying with us. So it's now time for your questions and for your comments. So shall we?
All right. Melissa says, Uncle Ebo, my husband can be very rude and abusive to me, even in the presence of my children. I have endured this for the past 8 years, but I think I have had enough. I'm afraid that my children will pick up this habit. How do I handle it?
You are right about your children picking up the habit, but even more dangerous is that it is destroying their personality. Anytime, anytime a child hears a parent being mistreated, something is chipped away from that child's personality. The child will not feel good about himself and will have issues. So please find someone who can help the two of you, either in church or in the family, who can call your husband to order, and let's get over this, because it is not right.
From Mavis, Uncle Ebo, please, how do you start sex education with your 10-year-old son? He has grown so fast and has started writing a particular girl's name all over his book. I think I have to educate him on sex as a single mother, but want to do it the right way. Thank you.
It's going to be, there's no easy way of starting that conversation. The important thing for you to know is that he already knows much more than you think he does. Thanks to all the small gadgets we are all holding, the children are much more exposed than we think we are. I think one good way is to call him one day, go for a ride with him and ask him to tell you what he knows. And then let it be from there, let it be a discussion. Or in the hint he has already given to you about this girl, let that be the beginning. So who is this? Why do you like him? Does he also like you? And then the conversation can continue.
Joseph Diedon says, this is my program of the year. And then from on the WhatsApp number.
Well, Joseph, thank you very much.
On the WhatsApp number says, Uncle, what do you do if your partner views you to be so perfect that the little things that you do make him feel so let down?
He should look into his own heart. He is not perfect himself. Why does he expect perfection of you? But I see that happening a lot, that we can take our own feelings, but we can't stand the feelings of our partners. It's not fair, and we've got to outgrow that.
From Dorothy, Uncle, how do you teach your children to draw a line between being respectful and speaking up for themselves?
Okay, being assertive, that's what you mean. It's a question of words, how they use the words, body language, attitude. So let them know that there are authority, there are people you don't challenge, and let it start from home. Tell them to give respect to everybody who is older than them, and I think that's a good start before they move on out of the house.
Uncle Ekuya sent a text message. She said, thanks for the 4-piece introduction. Please, my question is, who is a woman married to?
Who is a woman?
Married to?
To the husband. Yeah, come and clarify this question, I beg you. But, all right, let's go on.
We want to say thank you to Mami Ama, Ekuya Abra Apia, Derry, Miss Fixer, Christiana Abrefi, Kisblin Yeboa, Mami Efua Oforiwa, Kwame Peter, Mami Ekuya Yankee, Jacqueline Asari, Jennifer Senna, Nade Inshiraba, Tricia Hwese, Teliza Thompson, Steve Ohipenny, and Charity Date.
Did I hear pizza? How do you spell the pizza? How's the pizza spelled?
Uncle, I can't find it again.
All right, let's go on.
All right. Viva says, Uncle, how do you handle emotional infidelity?
Oh, that is difficult. That is difficult. There are signs, there are things you can, there are ways in which you can tell if your partner is being emotionally unfaithful. It begins with a person beginning to get indifferent towards you. Nothing you do really matters to him or her. Then you know that somebody else is taking the attention. The person stops giving you the necessary attention he has to give you. it's almost as if you don't exist with him. Intimacy becomes a chore for him, at least. He's going to be suddenly spending longer hours on the phone, taking the phone to the washroom and places he shouldn't be taking it to, picking calls and running out of the room to go and pick those calls. Those are some of the signs. How do you deal with it? Have a talk. Have a talk with your partner. And sometimes it helps. I hope it helps.
From Rhoda. Uncle, I'm in love with this man who was dating my friend. He tells me he loves me. He came all the way from US to see me, but then he has a child with a different lady out there. What do I do, Uncle?
Love yourself. And I'm serious. Love yourself. I think you are dealing with somebody you shouldn't be dealing with. One, how do you explain to your friend about this? And this is a man who already has, from the little you are saying, he's a person with a roving eye. And just as he's left your friend and is coming for you, he will leave you for your own friend, your next friend. So would you want that? If not, please love yourself. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
WhatsApp message. Uncle, myself and my boyfriend live in 2 different countries. Due to time difference, communication is little and difficult. But uncle, I make all the effort in reaching him, but he won't pick and he won't call back. I know he's working and might be busy, but how about his weekends? I'm confused as to what to do.
How about his weekends? Indeed, and I think that is a very good question. The two of you will need to have a talk. The first thing that I would like you to find out is, do you still have a relationship with him? Or has distance done its work against your relationship? So have a talk. But the first thing, be interested. Do we still have a relationship? If we do, then please raise your game. Tell him that.
We have a comment here from King Solomon.
King. His Majesty. You are welcome. It's always good to hear from you.
Good day, Uncle. One point I would like to add to the 40 problems in marriage. One's values and beliefs.
Yeah, that's what we began with when we talked about the philosophy. That was to outline the values and beliefs. Thank you very much.
Sayram says, Uncle, how do you handle the third parties? Does trust not play a role here?
Trust does, but confidence building measures is also important. So I may trust that nothing is going on, but you too do things that will give me the confidence that nothing is going on. In other words, don't hide your phone. Don't put CIA password and code on your phone. Learn to pick the call in my presence. And also, reduce the amount of time you're spending with this person. Then that will help me build the confidence and the trust in you.
From Nora. Uncle, is it bad to be emotional when you see your man cheating and playing girls, and he feels it's right for him to do that?
He's cheating.
And playing girls.
And playing girls. Is there a game like that? Okay, so my understanding of it, Nora, is that he's being too friendly with the girls. He enjoys the attention of women too much, or seeks it too much. When you are emotional, does it bring you any results? You shouldn't accept it, but don't get emotional because it won't help you. It will only make you less attractive to him. Play a higher game. And you're a lady. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Viva comes back and says, Uncle, how do you handle emotional infidelity when you are the one being emotionally?
You are the perpetrator.
Yes.
Have a long chat with yourself. You know, one day sit yourself down and say, self, this thing you're doing, it can bring trouble. It can bring trouble. It doesn't help. You know, it gives you this emotional, it's like toffee, emotional toffee is sweet. But in the long run, it leaves you totally unsatisfied. So, again, don't settle for less.
From Dorothy, can a woman decide not to be Osofo if the husband has the calling to be Osofo after marriage? It was a direct call and not a conference call.
Yeah, maybe. There's a question after. It says, or.
Oh, yeah, oh.
It's a direct call.
It's one of the areas in which you cannot deny the person who feels called. And sometimes, in sacrificing to go along with him, you may reap certain blessings you never imagined, especially if the call is genuine. I'm not referring to the case where the person wants to run into the clergy because he thinks it's easy, but one in which there is every evidence that God has called him to this. What you can do is go to God yourself and say, God, you called him, but you need to prepare me too. So give me some signs to let me know this is what you want us to do. Don't be afraid to question God on that. So take God to task and let him help you deal with it. But don't dismiss it completely.
Ekia asked earlier who is a woman married to, and you asked her to clarify.
Yes.
So she says, is a woman married to only her husband? What of his siblings and parents?
A woman is married only to the husband. And I can't emphasize this enough. There have been cases where the siblings of the husband have come home expecting the wife to serve them. It is not on. It is not the right thing. When the siblings of a husband come home, they've come to the wife's home as well. They should not throw their weight around. She is not married to them. She is married to the man. That concept of you married to, and you are married to all of them is so outdated. She is married only to the husband. Everybody else is an outsider. When you come into their space, respect that space.
We have a comment here from our dearest Augustina Ewuku. She says, Uncle, you are always looking splendid. I love that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What did Kabuse say? It was meant for somebody else.
It's a message to somebody else.
Well, Kabute knows. I don't know.
From Seth, Uncle, please, how do I know the lady I am dating is the right one?
Wow. We wouldn't have the time to answer that question. So, but why are you dating her if you don't think she's the right one? Yeah, let's go.
Text message from Nana says, Uncle, there's this girl who from all indications is interested in my husband and is subtly pulling strings to get his attention. I have seen it and warned him about it, but he is sure there's nothing between them. I am a woman and I can see what she is doing, but he doesn't. She tried to be cool with me, but I made her know I am not cool with it. How do I get my husband to understand me? What do I do?
Ignore her. You are making her significant in your marriage. You are creating space for her. And so she's becoming a bigger and bigger factor in your marriage. Ignore her. Don't see the moves she's making. Because you see, men are not like women. Some of those things may mean nothing to us. So play cool about it. And don't, because you see, the more you raise it with your husband, he's going to get more and more frustrated about it. And anytime you question him about her, he now pays closer attention to her. You're pushing that woman into your marriage. Stop it.
From Janet, Uncle, please, is being an independent lady a threat to your marriage life in the future?
Well, it could be, but I love independent ladies. Just that independent women need strong men, and I hope you find a man who is strong and tender enough to make you love to be a woman.
Roberta says, Uncle, please, how do you deal with loneliness?
Learn to know yourself and to fall in love with yourself. Fill your life with fun things, the things that you enjoy doing. Don't wait for somebody to validate you and to make you happy. And I think you'll be on the right path.
From Grace, Uncle, I have this guy who really loves me. However, I have not been that good to him. Now he is indifferent towards me because his old girlfriend, who is seeking for divorce, has connected back to him. Should I carry on with him?
A chewer on answered the question wrongly, and it's the reason why he's still a chewer. Have a chat with him. Have a chat with him, and come level up with him. Let him know you are sorry for the past. That is, if you are, because I'd like to know why you were not good to him. Why? And are you now going to be good to him just because he seems to have an option, or what? So you need to answer a few questions first. But if truly you've now discovered, look, I made a mistake, this is the guy for me, then have a meeting with him. And but I hope it's not too late. I really hope it's not too late. I realize that Canison would like to ask a question. Okay, all right, okay. Let's go.
All right. Anonymous text message. Uncle, I'm dating the guy who says he's in love with me but has a child with someone who is a Muslim, and they are staying together. He tells me they are together because of the child. But then anytime we are talking and the lady is around, he starts whispering and tells me we have to cut the chat. We can talk for hours when he is away from the lady, but when he gets home, it's different issues. I feel I'm dealing with a cheating husband. When I asked him, he said he's trying to avoid problems with the lady in order to solve things amicably.
Run. Run. You are in the wrong relationship. That's not for you. You are taking somebody's husband. You are taking somebody's husband, and he will treat you the same way. Please, you deserve better than this. Get out of it.
From Fosu Simon. My relationship has been blessed since my encounter with you at Beige Village in 2014, Uncle. I'm happily married now. Your education has been a blessing. God bless you, Uncle.
Well, thank you, and continue loving that girl.
From Beatrice. Uncle, I love my man so much and he loves me as well. My problem is he always reads different meanings into what I say or questions I ask or suggestions I make in our conversation. That sometimes brings about misunderstanding or argument, which I'm not too happy about. He is sometimes too quick to conclude, and this behavior sometimes makes me find it difficult to contribute when it comes to communication between us, since I know him to be a very emotional person. How do I deal with this situation, Uncle?
Patience, and then continue to seek to improve your communication. It looks like the two of you have issues with communication. Continue to learn how to communicate better and improve it. Let's go.
All right. Uncle, please, what do you do if your man is not talking to his mom? Please advise.
He's not talking to his mom.
His mother.
Get out of it. It's none of your business. It's none of your business.
From Beatrice, my boyfriend has so many lady friends always around him. I'm quite uncomfortable. How do I deal with that?
Tell him so. Tell him so. And let him know he's still a boy. He needs to grow to be a man and be able to make his choices right. If you are watching us, our time is up, but please let me crave your indulgence for us to do another. There are a few questions. Let's do another 5 minutes more. I beg you. So if you can stay with us, fine. If you can't, I can understand. But let's do 5 minutes more and let's see how many questions we can take.
Uncle, does your spouse have to tell you everything about his past?
No. His past is past. Don't make it an issue.
From Asida, Uncle, would you advise one marries a man whose mom initially did not agree but has given her consent after a while for them to marry?
Yes. Unless your feelings have changed towards a man, I don't see why you shouldn't go ahead and marry him.
From Lydia. What will you do when you marry a man who is not honest?
You will feel like killing yourself every day. You will hate yourself after a while. So, advise yourself.
All right, Komi says, Uncle, if the siblings are not on good terms with your spouse, should she distance herself from them?
Come again.
If your siblings are not on good terms with your spouse,
Yes.
should your spouse distance herself from them?
Should you distance yourself from your own siblings because they are not on good terms with you?
Should your wife distance herself from your siblings
who are not on good terms
with her?
Oh, they've already distanced themselves. So why are you asking? Leave them. They will sort themselves out.
Emmanuel says,
That's what you just read.
I'm enjoying the message. God bless you all.
Thank
I
you,
am
Emmanuel.
married with a son. I love my family. God bless my family and friends.
And God bless you too, Emmanuel.
From Mona. Uncle, please, what do you do when your boyfriend wants you to sign a memorandum of understanding in their relationship?
Now, this is your boyfriend.
It's a business relationship.
Has he told you why he wants you to sign the agreement? What kind of contract? Well, let's go on.
Grace Ajiman says, Uncle, I'm married to a man who stays abroad. For the past 3 years now, I have not been hearing from him. No calls, no message, nothing. I told his family, but no response. I want a divorce. Please advise.
How many years?
3 years.
You are covered by the law for divorce, so go see a lawyer. Because the law says 2 years. So go see a lawyer. I'd like to make a confession. I can't get the memorandum of understanding out of my mind.
He feels I am not submissive.
And the memorandum of understanding would make you submissive. He's a joker. He's a joker. What? Tell your boy that a counselor is better than a memorandum of understanding. So the two of you go see a counselor. Go and see somebody both of you can hold yourselves accountable to. But this kind of memorandum of understanding, it won't work. But if he insists on it, you two go look for a lawyer. And you two submit your memorandum of understanding. Well, yeah, you two make your demands. It should not just be his demands. Hey!
I'm just wondering how the subject was.
Wow. People day. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us and for staying with us. May God bless and keep you. May the coming days bring you more laughter and fulfillment. And this Christmas, may you find your pocket full so you can do so small for Christmas. God bless you and see you.
Every